Hello and welcome to Think, Create, Initiate podcast, hosted by Grace and Charlotte. This podcast will focus on key tools, techniques, insights to help you start and grow a profitable business while still in a job or in small pockets of time. We have a strong desire to help as many female entrepreneurs as possible to create a business from a passion that is unique to them, following our proven 4-part formula for success. So whether you're listening on the go or sitting back and relaxing, make sure you enjoy and implement any takeaways you learned today.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Think, Create, Initiate, from side hustle to startup. So I'm your host today, Grace Nelson, and I'm excited to be delivering another epic episode. But this time, we actually have a special guest joining us. So I'm really excited about this, listeners. This guest is a guru when it comes to building a community online. So he's the perfect guest for us to really start to understand and explore, just how simple or, it could be even, how hard it is to really start to grow your community online. So I'm not going to go on because I'll probably do this man no more justice. So by way of introduction, I would love to introduce Arne. Hello, Arne.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on.
Excellent. So good to have you here. So Arne, I gave a brief introduction, but I feel that I've done you no justice. So I would love for you to introduce to the listeners today who exactly you are and what you do, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, thank you guys all for, taking some time to listen. I know you could be doing all kinds of stuff. You could be watching Tiger King right now. You could be doing anything, but you guys are showing up here to listen and learn. And that means a lot about you guys' priorities. So thank you. So a little background on me. I'm a Facebook group specialist. So helping people start, grow, and monetize Facebook groups. And this is like the perfect starting spot for you guys, especially if you're, moving from your current job into startup and growing. Having a community attached to your brand is like one of the kind of secret superpowers that really help me and a lot of my clients take off. I help people get the right people in their circle, create connections with them, and have that turn into figuring out what offers to put out, figuring out what messaging to put out, and growing community around your brand that's long term. So I ended up growing a group to almost 80,000 members now. By the time this is published, we'll probably be past 80. And that didn't come without having 4 groups totally fail and tank on me. And then the 5th one took off, and that helped me generate 7 figures in just the last couple of years. So there's a whole lot of ways to use community for your business, and I'm excited to dive into some of those ways for you guys.
Excellent. So amazing. Almost 80,000 members. You're probably going to, as you say, surpass that mark very soon. So I'm very excited for you. So Arne, just let's take it a step back. So going right back to when you first embarked upon your entrepreneurial journey, if you can remember that far. I would love to know how it all started for you. What was your breakthrough moment for you to decide, I no longer want to remain in my 9 to 5. I want to embark upon something new, a new adventure.
Yeah, so I'm in kind of a unique position where I have had very few jobs, and I got into the entrepreneurship space very early. So like even when I was in college, I had a side hustle business. Have you seen those 3-wheeled bicycles? They're called pedicabs, where you can like give people rides in the back.
Yes, I have seen that. Yes.
Yeah, I did that for like 3 summers while I was in college.
So
And
cool.
that was my very first business. I got a business license, and basically I had to go and I rent the bike from a shop, and then I go out and I make as much as I possibly can. So I had to figure out the best routes, the best pricing, the best pitches. Every 50 times you pitch somebody on the street, you'll get one yes. So I learned a lot about sales and customer service and just perseverance through that. So that was my earliest business. I loved it, but clearly you can't scale that up. And after that, I was really just intrigued by business in general. So that's what I was studying in college, and I was just soaking up everything I could. I had the best grades in my business classes and not so much in everything else.
Yeah.
So, because I knew I could, take those skills to the real world really quickly and make something out of it. And I remember I came across an article on Entrepreneur Magazine one time, and it was all about community and how businesses and industries that have community attached to them are just that much more powerful, because it just creates this circle of people that really care about what you have going on. And when you set it up right, you can attach that to your products and your offers. So I sent an email out to the author of that article, just saying, hey, I really love your article, great job, that totally resonated with me. And he responded back and said, yeah, I really appreciate it. We actually just started this community for entrepreneurs on Facebook. If you want to come by, come check it out. And this was like probably over 5 years ago now. And that was the very first Facebook group for business that I joined. And it was so incredible because I didn't have other online entrepreneurs in my life. I had all my other friends, I had all my other family, I had my, buddies that did the pedicab stuff and all that. But I didn't have these people that were doing what I wanted to do. So when I got into that community, it just felt like a whole new world. And I was like, these are my people. I want to be like them. I want to learn from them. And I want to, really show up in this community. So that's kind of what got me started into, benefiting from communities immediately and being able to plug in and see the value of that. And then later on, I went on to start a couple of my own groups that totally failed until the fifth one went big.
Yeah. So tell us then, Arne, when you decided, I'm enjoying this community that I'm in, your first taste of being part of an online community, and then you decided to transition and head up your own community. Talk us through some of the initial challenges, obstacles that you went through in order for your first 4 groups to, well, sadly, have an epic fail.
Yeah. So every single one of those taught me a slightly different lesson for sure. Like, I think the first one I made was about blogging, because I had just, set up my first ugly website and, was sharing some thoughts.
As you do, yeah.
Yeah. And all I did was I invited other bloggers, and then all we all did was just post our blog links over and over again on the wall.
Yeah.
And that just made for a terrible community of a bunch of links and spam, and nobody actually reading each other's blogs. It's just everybody posting, trying to get some traffic out of the group. So that just wasn't a fun group at all, and that one got pretty much abandoned a few months after that. And I didn't really have a clear focus or vision other than post blog links and get traffic, so it didn't really with anything else I had going on. So nothing came of that. And then I tried a couple of other ones. Some were a little bit more like product focused. Like I wanted to put together a specific product, and then I did some kind of like hype around that, and then got some people in there. And then that one just totally fizzled out. I just didn't know what to post. I didn't know, how to show up for the members. I didn't know what else to provide. And I didn't make a community out of it. I made it kind of like, a pre-launch for this product group. And that's not a sustainable long-term thing. So later on, that's when I started the now successful group. And it took me a while, but I hit 1,000 members. And then that was kind of the turning point for me, where I realized I was like, this is incredible. Like I have 1,000 people all in one space. Like if I had all these 1,000 people in a room right now, I would be the man, So how can I really create a community and an environment that these people will want to show up for every single day and participate in and give value in? And that's what kind of led me on the quest of understanding, okay, how can we make this the best community? How can we make it different from other ones? And really make sure it aligns with my business, my goals too, so that I can really lean into it and, show up how I need to show up and make sure I'm getting paid for it too.
Brilliant. Yeah. Reaching that golden 1,000 member, it's not no easy venture. So that's just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for just walking us through that, and just highlighting that, you know, to build a community online, you need to have a clear focus, a clear direction for the community. Otherwise, it can just spiral out of control, and they won't be getting any value. And, you know, you won't, as a leader, it's going to reflect on you because you're not actually serving them as well.
Totally. And it just kind of messes up the long-term part of it, where if you're just starting a group because you have this one random side hustle venture you thought of yesterday, but you're not even really committed to seeing it through for a long time, you might as well not start a group. Like it's going to suck up your time. So I really want people to understand that it is a long game play. And at first, you know, your first, you know, 300, 500 members or so, you're putting in way more work than you're getting rewarded for. So after that point, that's usually when people start seeing a lot more organic growth, seeing a lot more sales results, really finding their voice in their content. And that's when, you know, you're putting your post out and you're getting well paid for it every single time. Before that, it can feel like you're kind of screaming into a void. So that's why I specialize in helping people get up to those first 500,000 members as quickly as possible and make sure it's all aligned with their business too.
Brilliant, brilliant. And when you got to your first 1,000, that golden milestone, how did you then grow your business to actually start to make money from it?
Yeah, so even before that too, I, you know, at that point, I obviously wasn't teaching people how to start and grow groups. I was still figuring it all out. But I was selling some agency services, everything from copywriting to funnel building and things like that. And I had a small team, a few contractors, and I did some of the stuff myself. So regardless, like that group, I was able to create it a lot more for the community. So it wasn't branded towards, you know, copywriting and funnels or anything like that. But I was able to get a lot of really good networking in from, you know, knowing all the group members and, you know, having a podcast and all this stuff. So I was able to, you know, keep my pipeline full anyways. After, I think it was about, at like the 5,000 member mark, that's when people saw me go from 1,000 to 5,000 in a matter of like 2 months, where the first 1,000 took an entire 6 months while I was still figuring it all out. So when that big spike came and people really started picking up, okay, he's doing something different and it's growing really fast. What the heck is he doing? That's when I noticed there was a big demand for the strategies that I was using. So that's when I started putting out a group growth cheat sheet. I'll share that with you guys a little bit later in the show too, probably be in the show notes.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
I still give out the same cheat sheet, you know, updated, but it's the same principles. So I started giving that out, and then I created a little $37 upsell for some engagement lessons, that kind of thing. And, you know, even though I was totally scared to launch it, afraid nobody was going to like it or get results or buy anything or all of that, you know, I just kind of had to go through with it and make it happen. And when I did, I started getting, you know, hundreds and hundreds, which turned into thousands, and then later tens of thousands of people going through this guide. And then, you know, all these people hopping in and buying the engagement training. So it really started to open my mind to the idea of being able to earn more from courses than I was from my services. And that was a really fun period of time where I could slowly transition out of the agency stuff and lean more into the course world and really scale up my efforts.
Brilliant, brilliant. That's amazing. Fantastic insights. Arne, just moving on slightly, and we will go back to, you know, your zone of genius, what you do. But I'm really interested in knowing what a typical day in your life looks like. Take us into your world.
Good question. So it took me a lot of time and effort and work to figure some of this stuff out. I even hired a habits coach. Shout out to Laura Doyle. She gets shouted out all the time because just morning routine she helped me put in, and just better understanding habits has just reshaped my life every single day. So I am a big believer of, having a strong morning routine. I pretty much wake up, do a quick workout, and from there, I will do write down 5 things I'm grateful for every single day, and then at least 5 minutes of writing, just kind of brain dumping of whatever is on my mind. And from there, I'll usually do a little bit of meditation, even just 5, 10, 15 minutes. And after that, I'm so much more clear headed. All of that will take me about an hour in the first part of my day. And I've had zero online, zero social media, zero inboxes. And that just really helps me get clarity on, how to show up full force for the day. So that's the most important part for sure. The rest of it is like I found I never schedule calls until after lunch. So for me, I'll eat lunch around 12 or 1, something like that. And the only times I'm booking calls, unless it's like something unique, is after that 2 p.m. The reason why is because my highest productivity time and where I have the most brain power is in the morning. So everything from, finish the meditation up until lunch, I have the clearest head and I can put out the most creative work and solve the biggest problems. Things like phone calls, it's typically a little bit more responsive than it is creative. So it's less energy for me. So understanding how your energy works in a day is a big opportunity to really optimize yourself. Some people might be total opposite. They might get everything done at night. Cool. But I figured out the morning is for me for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Arne. It's so important to know yourself, because although, we look to successful gurus like yourself and they all seem to have a strong morning routine, if mornings are not great for you, then don't, why force it? You need to find what's right for you. Because I know myself personally, Arne, I recently read the 5 a.m. club, and I tried so hard to be part of that club, waking up at 5 a.m. to start my day, strong start. But because I go to bed late, I'm a night owl, it never happens. So why force it?
I'm the same. Like especially like, all the weird schedule stuff lately, I've been like sleeping in even more, but I still wake up, do my same routine and have my same productive hours, whether I wake up at, 7 or 9 or 10:30, I'm still going to go through the same routine and get everything going.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so another question then, Arne, what keeps you motivated on a daily basis?
I think it's understanding that there's always more to be able to do and create. And that's one of the questions I always ask myself, like as I do my morning stuff and my meditation and all that, is what do I get to create today? And that really just gets my brain turning from, if I'm anxious about something else, that disappears and I get to think about what I get to create. So if I say, okay, I get to create, a new video or a new partnership or a new this or, a new that, that's exciting because I love creating stuff. So when you know what you have to look forward to every day, that definitely helps a lot.
Love that answer. Yes, and I completely agree with that. So Arne, you've already dropped a lot of value, not only for the listeners, but for myself as well. So just to wrap it all up, Arne, I would love you to leave myself and the listeners here with 3 tips on how they can get started in growing a online community, more specifically a Facebook group.
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest thing I want you guys to realize is whether it's marketing groups, whatever, you have to have a high level of communication with your audience and with your potential customers. A lot of people, I've made this mistake too, of hiding in the garage and coming up with some offer, some product, some whatever, and trying to bring it out to the world, and you spend all this time, energy, effort, money trying to build it, and then you show up and you say, hey, look what I got, and people go, I don't want that. and,
Yeah.
and then you wasted all your time. So I always recommend people, especially who are starting out, to really focus a lot more on increasing that communication with your potential customers, having them validate your different ideas and offers and things like that, just by being straight up with them. Say, hey, I'm working on this thing to help this type of a person achieve this result. If that's you, let's chat. And then you can just tell them, like, hey, I'm working on this thing. I honestly don't know if it's a good idea or not yet. What do you think? And then they're gonna be a lot more open to giving feedback and telling you what you would improve and all those different things than if you just said, hey, I got this thing I've been creating, go here and buy it. And then they don't buy it, and then there's no good feedback loop. So that's the biggest thing. And it's the same with creating a group. It's like, okay, what do you want to create the group about? What kind of content should you put in there? What do people need support with?
Mm-hmm.
Just open that feedback loop. Do lots of polls, have lots of conversations, and really just get a pulse on what your people want. That will completely change the game for you, save you a lot of time, and save you a lot of headache. So that's one big tip, but a very, very important one. The next one is having clear branding for the group. And what I mean by that is things like who should be in there, why should they be in there, what is going to be going on in the group, why should they continue paying attention, why is your group different than other similar groups, those types of things. Because if you can have ways to stand out and let people know, hey, we're different because of this, that's when they really start to show up and stick around. So think of those different ways you can stand out and be unique, and that will just change the game for you. All right, there's two. Let's see, number three.
Yes,
I have so many different things I could say, but
I know. Pull out another goodie, Arnie.
Is there any specific big one you would want to ask?
Oh, right. So we've had the increased comms, because we know leaders should always be asking questions. It's so important. You know, you if you want to deliver value, let your audience tell you what they want. So I agree with that one. Branding as well for strong positioning. Oh gosh, I'm a bit stumped. I know you could do more than three.
Oh, I got a good one.
Okay, yeah, drop it.
All right. So number three is making sure you have a cross-channel marketing strategy. So Facebook groups is just one piece of the puzzle, but if that's the only platform you have your audience on, you are completely at the whim of organic reach on your posts, the Facebook algorithm, you know, people seeing your things. But we always recommend, number one, grabbing their email as they join. We also have a software that helps pick that up. It's called Group Funnels. I bet you probably have an affiliate link sitting around for that somewhere if people want to check it out. And making sure to show up on different platforms, because you never know, you could get your Facebook group deleted, or Facebook could, you know, disappear like MySpace one day. And then if you have, you know, a big audience on there, you're screwed. So having more contact points like email, retargeting ads, things like that will help out a ton. And I know a lot of you guys listening are beginners, so don't worry about too much of it, but hands down, for sure, build your email list.
Brilliant. I love that one. I'm so glad that you mentioned that, actually, because like you said, you know, the whole social media landscape is changing, the algorithms, people being locked out of their accounts, thrown into Facebook jail. So it's so important that we start to future-proof our business, not just rely on one platform solely. I've personally, Arnie, seen many 6-7-figure coaches whose businesses just go back to zero because they spent their entire life just building it on one platform, and then they lose it all just like that. So I love that one. Thank you. So,
yeah, for sure.
Arnie, before you go, please let us know where we can find you, where you're hanging out. So drop all your social media handles, and of course I will put them in the show notes as well.
Definitely. So the big group, the one's coming up on 80,000, that one's called Millennial Entrepreneur Community. Very big range of people and topics, and just a lively bunch. It's really fun. I also have a smaller, more niche group. It's for coaches and course creators. So it's called Coaches and Course Creators Try Building and Marketing Secrets. So you can just search those up on Facebook. And for kind of better understanding more about Facebook groups and getting started with that, go to fbgroupsforbusiness.com. And there's a bunch of articles and videos and blogs and that type of stuff as well. So yeah, plenty to go through and check out. And hope this was helpful in you guys for starting and building your communities.
Yes, yeah, thank you so much. Absolute legend, Arne. It's been a pleasure to have you on today's episode, just sharing more about yourself, your journey, and more importantly, your zone of genius, which is helping people to start, grow, and monetize Facebook groups. So thank you very much once again.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, brilliant. Take care, and listeners, until another episode, take care of yourself.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to today's podcast episode. Please be kind enough to leave a review and let me know what your biggest takeaway was from today's episode. Also, are there any future discussions and topics that you want to hear delivered by myself? By leaving a review, it will ensure that not only will this podcast rank higher, but more fabulous women like yourself can get to enjoy more of this great content to take away, absorb, and integrate into their lives. So thank you so much in advance for doing so. Love and light.